The head of Amnesty International, Salil Shetty, has described the regional uprising across the Arab world as international right revolts on June 23rd. Mr. Shetty said that much more needed to be done to secure reforms in countries like Egypt and Tunisia.
We classify what's happened in the Middle East in the last 9 months or so as a human rights revolution. And human rights in a very sort of holistic way, because if you think about what happened with Mohammed Bouazizi in Tunisia, who burnt himself to death, self-immolation. On the one hand, he stood up for his rights to free speech and free expression because he protested against the fact that he had no voice. But at the same time, he was also protesting against the fact that he had no employment, no livelihood. So the idea of seeing rights in a holistic way, I think, is what this whole revolution has been about. I'm not suggesting that everything is going to transform between now and September, but the elections were a joke here in the past. Everybody knows that. So I don't think we're going to be in that situation. But we are worried about the fact that there is extensive use of military trials, the fact that we still have emergency law, and then media, repression of media. There have been so many journalists, bloggers. We have this press code. These are kind of the Mubarak laws, which we don't need now. If it's a new Egypt, we need to scrap these things. It's very important for this government, the people in power, to show that they're serious about the future, and the way they can do that, a human rights friendly future. And one critical way to do that is to show that people who've conducted the violations in the past, that they are held to account, that we have truth, we have justice, and we have reparations. More recently, after 25th January, 846 people were killed, over 6,000 injured. It's great that we have a national commission, but we know that the scope is too narrow. Many people have been left out. A lot of the special service officers are walking around with impunity. All of those have to be addressed. People need to have trust for the future. We are right now in a very uncertain period. We have called for the government to be referred to the International Criminal Court. It's very unfortunate that Russia is blocking it, and many of the Western powers who were so enthusiastic to see the changes in Libya have been much more muted in the case of Syria. So there's a degree of disappointment there, but at the end of the day, the primary responsibility is with the Syrian government, and we've called on them to really restrain their armed forces to stop killing peaceful protesters.
إكرام اليعقوب، العربية.